Hi there, Sensei Victoria Whitfield here from victoriawhitfield.com for your weekly love letter. This week, the topic that's coming through is practicing acceptance. In the energy, as I was searching for what we were going to deliver for this week's love letter, a question came out of our soul. What are the different sources of stress in our lives that we observe in different students of the dojo, that I observe in my own life, right, and I observe it in the energy? One of the big sources of stress in our lives is our inability to practice acceptance. So, the first thing that's coming through to share from the spirits is that acceptance counteracts, it goes against the ego. Ego and pride are one of those catalysts for stress and obstacle and frustration in life. The reason being that there's an identification with A, and we are experiencing B. So even though we believe that we are A, we believe in A, we are A, or have been raised to be A, right? The experience, the physical sensations, the temporal, physical manifestation of whatever Spirit's delivering into our lives at this moment is B. And we're looking at B and overlaying A. Because that's our glasses, right? These are A glasses. And the only thing that I can see through these glasses is A. There's no such thing as B. We're just gonna move it out of the way, right? That is what a lack of acceptance looks like, energetically speaking, and psychologically as well. What are the effects of that A-B split, personality-wise, perceptually? What are the effects? Stress, lack of understanding, suppressed expression, anger, feeling ungrounded, out of alignment, depressed, anxious, untrustworthy, feeling untrusting, rather, or feeling unworthy or invalid. Right? We're looking at B, the actual temporal manifestation, the actual physical, spatial manifestation that we're experiencing now is a B experience, but there's nothing but A in terms of the data that we can interpret it. We have to cognitively, or there's a pattern rather, not a have to, thank you. There's a pattern of all data that comes in must be sifted through the A protocol and fit into an A prototype. Now this is a bit of a robotic description on purpose, the spirits are saying, because it is unnatural. In fact, it is manufactured. This A prototype, this A box, right, trying to fit the square peg that we're experiencing into a circular box. This A prototype or protocol is manufactured. Why? This is what I'm hearing in the energy. Well, why would we have that way of not being able to look at our lives and just accept them as they are? Well, of course, there's nature versus nurture. Naturally, humans, as a animal that has the gift of critical thinking, naturally likes to look for patterns and duplicate patterns to create a sense of stability, order, reproducibility, familiarity. It is to create the tribe, right? So we're searching for ourselves in patterns in all that is around us naturally. We are also nurtured then, on top of that, socioculturally, traditionally, through advertising, commercially, right? Religiously. So all of these different external systems will create their version of what type of paradigm you should be looking at your world through, even if the world that you're experiencing is totally not in alignment with it. Totally not. So let's put all of the technical language aside for a second and tell you a story to give an example of a lack of acceptance, what that looks like, and the effects. Johnny is a good boy. Johnny comes from a good family. Johnny gets good grades. Johnny plays good with other kids, you know, up the street or in sports. Johnny is a good boy. Johnny goes to a good school. He takes on a good major. He does good. And he graduates at a good place in his class. Johnny gets a good job. And Johnny is dating a good girl. And their relationship is going good. So they get married and he has a good marriage. And everything is good. What determines the version of Johnny's good is completely relative. So rewind back. As you were visualizing and thinking and going along with that whole story I just told you, what were your versions of what is good that were coming up for you? Making good money, or having a good marriage, or going to a good school, getting good grades. What are your version of good grades? Right? For some people, their version of good or acceptable is entirely different. Beautifully different, right? Entirely different than your idea of what's good. What matters most is how you feel. Okay, I'm starting to hear the oracle cards. 1 second. What matters most is how you feel, though. If we're judging what a good life is based on someone else's standards of what is acceptable, we're going to be out of alignment. The frustration and the symptoms of being out of alignment, of being ungrounded, frustrated, or non-expressed are going to come out naturally because there's a fundamental lack of clarity around what's your definition of what's acceptable and not acceptable. So in previous videos we were talking about protecting your joy and how the way to do that is to know, well, what the heck is my joy? It's about a defining process. You can do that to the nth degree and find yourself more by defining yourself than finding yourself in some workshop, some retreat, some book, some person's arms. You don't go find yourself, you define yourself, is what I'm hearing to tell you in the energy. And one way that is a really powerful but very simple spiritual practice to enact that is by practicing acceptance. It's very simple. Whatever is what it is. At first glance, that's going to sound profoundly pedestrian. But I would challenge you to look a little bit deeper into that phrase especially if you are not satisfied with your job, with your relationship or partner, with your body, right, with your finances, with your studies, with the food that you're eating, the place that you live, etc., etc. If you're feeling not satisfied, you need to look into embracing a sense of acceptance, not to settle. That is not acceptance. That's reticence. Huge difference. Go do a thesaurus.com if you don't know what reticence is. But the only thing I'm going to tell you is that one is active and the other is passive.